So would you like to tell us what would be some of the goals or activities or games that you may build into a program for a child doing RDI?
Sure. So we talked already about the parent focus. And so often when the parent is beginning to try to learn how to modify their communication styles or their even their pacing to help the child with processing or as an invitation. So that's all in play early on. But what we find is that those goals are also benefiting the child at the same time. So it's it's a parallel process, I guess, as we're helping to build the parent's competency, the child's competency is also really starting to blossom. And so the type of activities that we could do, ideally what we would have families do is they would receive a goal from us as consultants based on our assessment of where the family's at or what is most important, that where they need to be getting, what are the priorities. And then we would educate them about the goal, because it's really important, I think, that families know why they're doing something versus, just tell me what to do and I'll do it. Yeah. Well, you're going to have more investment if you know what the implications are for developing that in your child to fill in that developmental step, or why this is so important. So sometimes, for example, slowing down can feel counterproductive to families when they just want to, they're in crisis and they just want to speed up and get their child to do something and fix this behavior and get rid of that, because it all triggers me and makes me feel, as a parent. So that's why we focus on parent self-regulation as well. But so some of the goals, will give a parent a goal. They'll learn how to frame it. And this is thinking about how they're going to set up their environment, how they're going to plan the activity, how long it's going to take, what the child's role will be, what communication emphasis they'll use, what type of potential scaffolding they might use, what could potentially be a distraction, what are the child's action limitations, is fine motor skill a challenge for them, just thinking about who they are, who's the child's strengths and challenges as we plan the engagements. Those planned activities typically get videotaped, and then we teach parents to learn how to begin to evaluate their work. And so it's like you're online in the moment, and then afterwards you go offline to kind of consider and evaluate how things went. And through that process, you're learning in a way that things get missed when you're in the midst of moments, right? So as you take time to consider and learn, the families, they'll go through that process of evaluation under the careful guidance of a consultant so that it doesn't feel overwhelming. And eventually what happens is the guide develops into a really mentally agile guide. And it's because they've taken that time to reflect, and then they're able to access that learning more quickly when they're in the moment. It's in the moment learning that's kind of challenging. So an activity, we could look at play. Play can definitely be an activity, but we can also look at real world, everyday routine types of things like baking or walking to the park. And depending on what the goal is, we can integrate that into the everyday experiences.